Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Welcome back to the second hour of the program, when we now turn to one of the most outspoken members of our National Assembly, Honorable Almameh Jiba, representing Fonyi Councillor. His constituency lies at the heart of the Gambia's common border with Senegal, an area currently experiencing heightened tensions, demolitions, and security challenges. As someone whose people are directly affected, Honorable Jiba brings eyewitness accounts and a strong voice from the ground. He joins us now to share his perspective on what these developments mean for sovereignty, security, and the daily lives of Gambians living along the frontier. Honorable Jiba, always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Yeah, thank you.
And you always come here dressed in white. Why? What particular message are you sending, with your choice of dress?
Actually, I can say, in our religious belief, white is a sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And again also, it shows peace. And this helps in trying to ground yourself. Okay. Wherever you go.
So Honorable Jiba is a man of peace, irrespective of what people think about him.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Now, in light of recent developments along the Gambia's border with Senegal, can you give us an overview of the long-standing relationship between the two countries along the joint territories and how it has shaped daily life for communities in your constituency in particular?
Yeah, thank you very much, Peter. And I thank the Gambian people, also Fonyi, Councillor, for the trust and confidence of electing me to serve them. And as representative, we have three core mandates, that is representation, legislation, and also oversight. So I believe, as a representative, the current issues or issues of border has been a long-standing thing since pre-colonial era, where we were told in history that the Gambia was an elephant before. The French and the Portuguese, then the British came. They were only much concentrating on the river side, where it changed to a very narrow in terms of demarcations that is done.
So the Gambia was much bigger than
it was much
what
bigger.
It is now.
What is it today?
So we were the elephant. What was Senegal at the time?
Senegal was also a bigger side, because even if what we were told that by our ancestors, Fonyi was up to Ziguinchor, up to Bignona.
Really?
That's why you could see that connection, tribal connections of all tribes within the Fonyis have linked. The Manjakos, talk of the Fullers, talk of the Jolas, and even the Mandinkas around that end. Okay. They all have link with the Fonyis and that of Casamas. That's why when you go part of Casamas, there is also an area around the Bignona and Marsasu, they call that area as Fonyi. So when you go to those people and even say, no, now it's Fonyi Casamas and Fonyi Gambia.
Okay.
And when you look at the dialect per se, those Jolas more or less connects the same dialect, different from when you go to the interior depth of Casamas. So these were issues that were happening. And then most of our people, I can tell you for a fact, in Kansala, most of the farms that our people farm were in Casamas. They farm in Casamas, granite, kus, millet.
Oh, okay.
Then, in the Jawara time,
they realized even then that, the areas they were farming on belonged to Senegal, because Casamance is Senegalese.
Yeah, partly, because you realize that it's just like a movement. You may have your ancestors that are from Casamance, others came through and settled in the Gambia, or you have a wife that you married from Casamance, and the husband is also a Gambian. So that connection syndrome works. And also villages that are bordered, most of them exchange a lot of issues in terms of trade, in terms of commercialization, and also in terms of even farming. Others are even allowed to farm in the Casamas.
Okay.
And there are also lands that are in the Gambia where Casamas also those farms. In the Jawara time and also in the Jammeh time. It was only when change occurs in 2016, 17, that shift has changed, where claims and counterclaims also started.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know whether you'd want to go into detail about these changes since 2016.
Yes, actually, I think...
and what might, have led to these, underlying causes of the recurring disputes and tensions.
Yeah, actually, I think one thing that is fundamental that people need to, and people should not downplay games in terms of saying, we are trying, the government is working on this. Here is this. Since Jawara's time, the government of Senegal had vested interest in the Gambia, whereby they even wanted, in the Confederation is an example, that has showed an ugly face that Senegal wanted the Gambia to be part of Senegal, based on what they thought was they could be able to play games to our leader. But Jawara being so wise, he stood his ground. The Confederation didn't work, didn't have a lifespan. And again, also, when it came to Jammeh, things were very tough in terms of border. Claims and counterclaims was history. I can tell you. It was around 2009 when a cell landed in a village called Siwal in Fonyi Bintan Karana. Peter, the problem that we have as a country is weak leadership. The fear that I am installed by Senegal. Therefore, if I do anything, Senegal can change its position. So when it happens...
Who has this fear?
It's the president, Barrow, because he knew, he thought that the fight of 2016-2017 change emanated from Senegal. The support was from Macky. So therefore, Barrow was even calling Macky my brother. So he thought...
Yeah, but Macky did not vote for him.
No, he didn't vote for him.
We Gambians voted for...
Yeah, but force, where he landed and ran. And also, it will be historically mentioned that in history of the Gambia, a president has never sworn in our outside country. Based on what? Let me use Senegal as a yardstick. And Senegal played an instrumental role in terms of what? Barrow's position as a president, and in terms of arm and ammunition, in terms of security, in terms of diplomacy, to see that change occurs the way it is. They've tried. I'm telling you for history. And I want people who do research, let them think back in Jawara's time. Senegal always want to pocket Gambia. But Jawara didn't give them that surface. When it came to Jammeh, it was tougher. That's why I was saying, in 2009, when Estelle landed in Siwal, I'm telling you the proactive and the stiffness of a leader. Jammeh came outright and called for a national television. He addressed the Gambian people and addressed his counterpart, Senegal.
What did he say?
That if a bullet repeats, he will retaliate, and his retaliation will be more costly than what had happened. I am telling you, since 2019, go back to the history. And I live in the borderline, from
How young were you then? How young were you in 2000?
No. I was working in Gamtel by then.
Okay.
Because I served in Gamtel for 20 years before joining Parliament.
Okay.
All right? So when it happens, you see Jammeh took that stand. It has never repeated. And
so since 2009 up to his departure in early 2017, we never had any other border issue with
Cells landing, border claims, counter claims. Yeah. It didn't happen. So it was only when 2016 occurs, whereby I know, and militarily, some of the soldiers who are in the army today could not even hold position if they had worked with the real act of the Gambia Armed Forces. where the current defense deputy CDS said Njai, he is an owl soldier. He left the Gambia and ran to Senegal to bring the Senegalese to be part of the Gambia. In militarily, if the moment you are owl, you automatically dismiss. You should be sent to court martial.
AWOL, absent without leave.
Yes, so now when it happens, they are the people. I am telling you the background history that had shown what we are today. That Senegalese entered into the Gambia with arm and ammunition. And the funny part, Peter, your room and parlor, which one is more of a secret? I think it's the parlor.
Of course, the bedroom.
The bedroom.
Yes.
So now, when they came, militarily, I don't know what sense were they portraying then. We have the army, a strong army, an independent army, an independent intelligence unit, an independent state, a Republican Guard. You also have various camps that were fully equipped. But guess what?
What?
They were pushed to the State House, only for Gambia Armed Forces to welcome them in the door of State House. And even Senegalese putting them into pressure, showing games of militarily, that the State House is taken. When a president lived peacefully, another president came peacefully, so they entered State House. This is where the biggest challenge that we are facing today happens. Because one, our secret is taken.
Our secret is taken.
Because
How?
now, when you look at, in rank-wise, the former that came, it was a colonel. Colonel Njai was the first economic commander. Now, what rank do we have in the army?
What rank do we have?
Can you specify a major general with a colonel? How many ranks between? From a colonel, you go to a brigadier general. Brigadier general, you go to a major general. Ranks far apart. And now I can tell you, currently, people who are leading the Senegalese in State House, some of them are lieutenants, captain. You rarely see a major. The current State Guard commander is a colonel. But all these people are answerable to the captain, who is a Senegalese force. And now, our territory is taken since 2017. People didn't know. We were saying this. And when we came to Parliament, this were message that we were echoing, that our country will soon be taken. But they paid deaf ear. They thought we were bringing commotions. And now, for example, you hear people saying, let's not de-escalate the tensions within the body. It's not about the escalation. It's about facts that we are saying. And I can tell you, the security chiefs are hearing me. It was only President Barrow and the vice president who were not around. You remember the issue of Dua Baji, who was killed in Gilamfare, in the Gambian soil. They denied. We made facts, proofs. His body was taken to Senegal for 40 days. It is us who were entering into the hiccups of each and every Senegalese hospital to search for our own remains, not the government.
Did you find the remains eventually?
When we got the remains, I particularly, and other members of parliament in Fonyi, informed the defense minister.
How did you get the remains?
It was through a search.
And
it
then
was through a search.
You found it somewhere?
Yeah, we find it at the
hospital. You must have gone through a process.
In Bignona.
How easy was that
We go
process?
to each and every hospital and ask. Finally, we were told that a body was placed by soldiers here in XYZ time. So we confirmed it was Dua. And when we confirmed that, we told them that it's not going to come through back door. Military of Senegal, within the border, we are ready to smuggle the body inside Gambia. We told them, no, he was killed by the Senegalese forces. We have to go through a process. Post-mortem was conducted. We know the death of how Dua was killed. And when we knew that, we took it up with the Security Council. Therefore, we put it away. When we had a meeting at the defense, the Ministry of Defense office, with security heads present and even Senegalese present. It was us, the initiative of Fonyi National Assembly members, where we went and we told them that we are not going to take this body. All process must go through correct procedures before we receive our remain. And it happened that way, where when it came, we also went through post-mortem. Records were given. We were given death certificate. And we told the defense minister, it's not going to be history as usual. Because when 2017, Aruna Jada was murdered by the same Senegalese forces who were stationed in Kanilai. Nothing was done. Even the burial of Aruna Jada, no state institution or ministry even attended. Aruna was shot. A week later, they changed all the Senegalese soldiers in that Fonyi belt that is manned by the Senegalese forces, and which we will still continue to say that they are not economic. Why? Because we know the deal. Because when Aruna Jada was killed, follow the newspaper, follow standard newspaper. Colonel Njai, then the economic commander, said the Senegalese soldiers in Fonyi are not part of economic. It was when the mess occurs, manipulation started with the presidency. They used ECOWAS and now tag themselves as ECOMIC. It was only 1 week. When Arna was killed, the following week, we had a new battalion, a new soldiers emanating from Casamas. They come through Jiboro, Jululung, and enter into Mandinaba, and there they stayed back in Kanilai. Whereby they're now saying, thank you very much for killing Aruna Jata. It was a praise by this government. If they don't, this was why my party then was saying that Fonyi were using traditional weapons and whatever. Thank God, it was a time of social media. We went on live coverage, and no traditional weapon was used. So today, disgracefully, my party doesn't have anything to say because facts were revealed that it was only paper saying that we don't want them. Enough is enough. Cattle, incursions of a lot of farmlands, and inhabitants were not even pleased with the condition then in Fonyi. This were a time which was very tough. And I can tell you, those are the times where politicians would not even go to Fonyi. Why? Because they knew Fonyi is not their area, borderline is not their area. And when that happens now, we put it to defense minister. That a 50,000, 10,000, 25,000 of charity, we are not going to accept it with Barrow. If it doesn't happen, we will render Fonyi ungovernable. These were the rightful words that we used in our meeting. We told the family of Dua, it is not your case, it is our case.
And when you threatened to render Fonyi ungovernable,
1.3 million was given.
Barrow
gave 1.3 million.
That's how the government responded.
Yes.
They didn't say you people were maybe treasonous.
No, that time they knew it is an alarming thing. If it is not extinguished, it can escalate. They knew it was killed by the Senegalese soldiers. And they knew that we have documented record of post-mortem clearly showing bullets that were on Koson on Dua. Okay. So when it happened, I can tell you, Seri Modo and other ministers who attended the funeral, it was me who lead the team with the honorable member of the area, Bakare Baji. The populace rise against these ministers that they don't want to see them here in this burial. I stood and said, let's maintain peace. We did what we are supposed to do. We have the document, prosperity are there. Even they don't act, tomorrow history will come back and we can pursue this. So this was how all of them were afraid. All of them were afraid. So these are issues that happened, Peter. Okay. But the other funny part, I am giving you these facts. I am from the area. When that happens, so we told the the Security Council that kill, deaths, border issues, cells landing, up to even side of Buya. You know Buya?
Yes.
The other side. Go to Sibanor. The Sibanor Primary School at the other left side. These were all areas where bullets will be landing. Imagine the proximity from Senegal. Nothing was done. The government was just like silence. And now, when that happened, we told the Security Council that we'll take action. And the action will be Senegalese must move away from Fonyi.
Oh.
So when it happens, they said, no, let's dialogue. It was then, I am telling, and I want each and every Minister of Defense was present, the Interior was present, the IGP then was present, the Commander-in-Chief of Gambia Armed Forces was present, Intelligence, all security heads, Security Council, only the Vice President and the President were not. But apart from that, all security institutions were present. And even they included part of Senegalese economic that were here. We started the borderline from Bintang down to the Fonyi's Kansala and then en route to Jaron. The most interesting part is we went and showed them that this is where Dua was killed. Pictures, stains of blood were seen in the Gambian territory. I can tell you for free, Peter, the Gambian government is not ready to stand its foot. From Dasilame,
yes,
right away Dasilame, it is an en route up to Jarol. The former president then his plan was to make sure he built that road, a lateral road from Dasilame down to Jarol. And this were the borderline that they were patrolling. And the road itself is not in Casamas. And when we went for the tour, I am speaking, and all those people, Siaka Jada is nobody interior minister, but he will hear me. Any minister that was present or the IGP, the current interior minister was then the IGP. It was foot movement. Vehicles were going slowly. We take foot movement. Even CDS knew that his training as a soldier, we are also combat soldiers movement. They said, but you people, you're still strong moving. I said, we want to show you every bit and pieces of the happening along this border. Where cells were landed, where we had dug and remove grenades, all those areas. More than 100 to 200 plus areas that we saw them evidence-based. The final area was in Kanila, where you went to a room. They have a room. It's already in Kalila, where all those pebbles of cells that were landed is put as an archive evidence-based.
Ah.
Yes, and when it happens, I am telling you, from Kanjabina, where Bullock is, in front you have Kanjabina, where before the camp is Kanjabina. Kanjabina is part of Gambia. The other part is Senegal. A compound. One compound is in Senegal.
Only one compound?
One compound is in Senegal. The rest of the compounds are in the Gambia.
Okay. Well,
and now in Kanjabina, there is... We went there. You know, I am telling people, and I want, if they want any minister or any individual in government, we can sit and debate, or we go by ourselves, we make evidence-based whether pegs are not there. When we reached at Gilamfari, we saw some of those pegs. I said, can we dig and see whether it's just a false peg? It was 1st of January, 2024. And we took these messages in Parliament. You know, our colleagues thought that, you know, these people are Jamaican's people. They are just terrorizing. They are bringing conflict in Fonyi. Because when our people were running...
When you say colleagues, fellow members
National Assembly, especially the NPP camp. Okay. Because for them, they will only be there raising their hands and clapping for the executive. But they will not stand for justice against the ugly thing that we are seeing today.
Yeah, because none of you is from, you know, with the NPP. Everybody in Fonyi...
No, I know. We are not in the NPP. But, you know, sometimes you support the reality. So when we dug that, we realized it was in-depth. We cannot even conclude where it ends. Elders were called. Wherever we go, we call elders. As old as 50, 80 years. Can you tell us this peg when? He said, I find my ancestors, their ancestors. These pegs were there. So I can tell you, free, that from Fonyi block up to Fonyi Jarol, you know, we have Fonyi Berefet, Fonyi Bintankarana, Fonyi Kansala, Fonyi Bondali, and Fonyi Jarol. All those areas. I don't know of other areas there. All those areas, Security Council members can confirm that all those areas have written an old age pegs. So now...
So they're properly demarcated.
Very demarcated. And now if they come and say, okay, you know, we've intruded into, you know, whatever. And again, the funny part that Senegal is using, they'll come with offline GPS. It was 3 months. You know, you pass Kanilai and go to Alakunda. The Gambia Armed Force Infantry Barracks, you know, the home of a president, is now chosen as a barracks. That's why I do say, Barrow will also move power. Manka Mankunda may even be the 5th Infantry Battalion, because this is what he does. So when you reach at Alakunda, there is a military guard post. Senegalese came with an offline GPS and said that military guard post is in Senegal. 3 months ago.
Who did they tell that?
The Gambian soldiers.
Really?
And the citizens of that area. They said, you know, you people are sick. The border is already there. That is the peg. They said, no. Their GPS said this. They are not following pegs, but they are only following GPS. And in Kanilai, at the back of Kanilai, I was called. When they came, I also came. You know, some of these issues, we have to be honest. Issues of border, whenever it happens, I will be either present or informed and go to see aftermath of the issue. All my areas, well informed, and my last master's was in the borderline issues post 2017 till 2025, because I made focus group discussion along this borderline, and I know I can even help the government to become realistic in their thinking in this area, because all these issues that had happened, it could be avoided. Because why? The laziness of the government, the inability to make sure they protect the territorial integrity, the inability to make sure that they hold themselves responsive into issues that are falling. For example, if a government that you have as a president, your PPO, personal protecting officer, is a Senegalese, the guy who will command your vehicle that the president is taking off State House and going to Mankunda, the president is taking off State House and going to the airport, the president is taking off State House and going to the meeting in Bajakunda. If all these people are Senegalese, before you reach the president, when we wrote a petition around 2023, 2024 of the killings and mass execution and also the checkpoint in Buyam, we met the president. We were cleared by the Senegalese. My tears were rolling.
Why?
I said, the country is taken. If I can come and see my president of a country called the Gambia, colonized by the British, I speak Mandinka, Manjago, Wolof, and other tribes, I am told, Lo Buga, Fo Buga them, or they speak French to me. I was shocked and dumbfounded. I said, my fellow Nams, that our country is taken. Slowly, we are going. And now, you could see, even the first family is protected by Senegalese. It was an attaché that they are. For example, the guy who holds Barrow's bag as his aide-de-camp is a Gambian soldier. Apart from that, all this belt are none. The inner core are not Gambians. The outer core are Gambians. So now,
it shows the solidarity,
it's not about solidarity.
Cooperation between us and Senegal.
It's not about solidarity. Peter, one thing that I can tell you in the phone is, you know Kanilai.
I do, yes.
When you reach where the current soldiers are, the so-called, I don't call them as economic. I call them as Senegalese soldiers, and I still stand by that.
Okay.
There is an antenna. You remember when we had the Pura meeting where I approached, if you could remember, what did I tell you? That the issue of communication of cells in phone will not be solved. And still it's not solved. Mohammed Yah was there. I think you could remember when we had it at the Pura House.
Consumer Parliament, yes.
Because the problem now is that antenna is a communication gadget that is installed by the Senegalese soldiers. They communicate from Dakar. They communicate from Kasama. They communicate from State House in the Gambian territory. And that communication is super modern gadgets that we have militarily. So it means our country is taken. They can cook whatever they are told. And they can even take our president away without even Gambians knowing that.
Oh, no, they can't do that.
So this is the danger that we have. For example, if that communication should be installed in a country. And now, Fonyi is in the middle of the Gambia. In State House, you have Senegalese soldiers. When you go to Fajara, Senegalese soldiers. When you go to Fonyi, you have Senegalese soldiers. Because what they position themselves, they know what they want. They had this idea. They had it thinking in mind that sooner or later we'll be able to walk on all this borderline. And one thing that is interesting that the Gambian soldiers should note, even the CDS, this is a warning. You know, when they go on joint patrol, they track all their routes and archive and save them. They rest their fuel, the Senegalese, they rest their fuel, they rest their food of all those patrol issues that they don't normally join with the Gambia, and they connect with that of Senegalese. When they do that, sometimes if Gambian army will even fail the route or try to maneuver security-wise, say, no, feel and jaron de. You won't be and jaron, do ni. So they have mapped the Gambia to their capabilities, and they are now holding the Gambia as an egg. They can throw it wherever they like, or they can burn it, they can boil it. This is what they did for this country. And the other interesting part, when we went on tour last year or so, we went to Senoba. I was told that Honorable Jiba, you see that area, that mark there, far end, about 40 to 100 meters away. They said that was the borderline when Jammeh was here. But where you are is all Senegalese. I confronted a Senegalese vendor shop. And I come on, you know, here, Senegal. 2 months ago, we went to Amdallah here. Immigration had a sponsor for GIZ. Magnificent story building. The Senegalese are saying that it is part of Senegal. Well built and furnished. Amdallah here. Where are you?
Going towards Amdallah, is it before the customs post or after the
After the customs post, that's where you have the build immigration unit. A new one. A new one. So now I know if the Gambia had done that feasibility and said, this is Gambia, but Senegal is now claiming that it's theirs. So you see, claims and counterclaims are all over. But our authorities are not thinking, they are not seeing the effect. They're saying we're using diplomacy. And one thing that I can tell you, under any international law, a foreign military cannot cross any country or borderline without legal authority. Or occupy territory or demolishing military camps, homes or pub. You see, they came all out and demolished. Do you know what they wanted?
No.
They even wanted to demolish the entire military camp.
So what stopped them from doing that?
Because what happened is it was a section. Most of the soldiers were not present. But when they asked for the enforcement in Kanilai, this is the time that they have already demolished about 200 meters. And they left. I went to the area. The area is in the same length with a private Gambian garden. It is also fenced. But that one is not demolished.
So the Gambian garden is okay, even though it juts further into what is supposed to be Senegalese territory.
Exactly.
Than the
and now
military
that camp, it is taxpayers' money. We went on tour. we find the DWP. You must have heard the report that we laid in Parliament about the conditions of security institutions. It was part of our mandate to visit. When we went there, we realized that most of those camps were not fenced. The like of Dasilame, the like of Bullock, go to Yundum Barracks, Farafenye. We had streamline and see possibility. By now, it was delayed based on their procurement issues. But it is paid by taxpayers' money. Today now, the fence is demolished. What will happen to what people invested? Are we going to be bringing taxpayers' money again and they demolish on their own accord? And that demolishment, even the chief of Fonyi Berefer confirmed that the stone is not even that it is in Kanjabina, far from that border and area. But they use what we call offline GPS and they mark and said, here is this. But in Kanilai, when they came and said this area is Senegal, the soldiers also took up their arms and ammunition and strengthened the border. They left. But the problem that we have, we are ill-equipped against Senegal. That is the whole truth. We are ill-equipped. If not, some of those issues could not have been happening. Because if a country is already borrowed by a foreign country in terms of, their security, we have a big challenge. Because what I can also tell you, some of these detailed issues that are happening. Peter, the country, we are at a risk situation, security-wise. What happened is, the soldiers use poste in Farafenye. And whoever can confirm this, whatever I'm saying, I confirm and I saw it with my naked eyes. Both poste in Farafenye and also Jiboro in Mandinaba. Soldiers in Fonyi, for example, if ECOMIC want to change their leadership, that other people are coming, others are going, they will announce.
Yes.
So this is why I stand with the notion clearly that those in Fonyi are not part of ECOMIC mandate. It's an agreement between Senegal and Gambia, the two leaders. Because what happened is, from Poste in Farafenye, they will now load their weapons, arm and ammunition, enter into the Gambia free will. They take the Soma route from Kalaje into Kanila and deposit their arms. Or they use the Mandinaba route, come to this and deposit. Or if they want to change now, you see that with military arsenals, that is a change, guard change.
Yeah.
But it's not even announced. We need announcement to say that XYZ is happening, but those issues are not in place. So you see that our security is in the hands of Senegalese. If it was in the hands of Gambians, Gambia would take the lead and said, we want this to happen. We don't want this to happen. Today, even in presidency or even ministers or meetings, there was a fracas that happened within Senegalese security and Gambian security in the ferry. A minister was pushed by the Senegalese against a Gambian security. It was a rift. They would never publish this. So you see, these are issues that do normally happen. If we don't take action, it becomes a strange line issues. And now Gambia on earth. It was just like, for example, as the saying goes, when a lion is sleeping, all riff-raff, goats and whatever will be jumping. Jammeh is absent.
Oh.
That's why all this brouhaha is happening. You will not. Believing in yourself is part of leadership. When do Barrow even stand at the national television and address the Gambian people that he is in charge of this country?
Is that where the problem is? That there's no visibility of our president?
He doesn't take issues seriously, because if he does, look at the presidents of Senegal. You see how contradictory the president of Senegal is? Gambia is saying this. Senegal is saying we've made series of engagement. I can tell you the block camp was since 2007. It started from Metesito. Occupancies met the president.
You mean the construction of the wall fence?
No. What I mean, the fence itself, for the camp to become a military camp.
Okay.
Because it was a stockade fence then. We protected with wires and whatever.
Yes.
So it is just now when funds were allocated, they start fencing. Because we went and saw the porousness. Okay. It started as Tesito. The people knew the dangers behind, without that corridor. Yeah. So it was how it is since 2007. Have you ever heard any commotion in that area? And the funny part that our security heads are not up to date.
How do you mean are not up to date? They don't have information?
2024.
Yeah.
In my adjournment debate, I put it to the defense minister that do you know that in Dasilame, there is an agreement that is in place where Gambian soldiers are not allowed to wear Gambian uniform. They are not allowed to hold weapons in that checkpoint. Why? Because it's because of the dispute between Dasilame and the Senegalese issue of that border crisis. He said that's never happened. I said, go and investigate. Go and see it for yourself. We went and saw what was happening. You will see them, you will even think that they are rebels, manning checkpoints or custom officer without even a weapon. In our own territory. And the camp is equidistant. Inside better than where they are claiming. You have the far camp of Gambian in Dasilame. The other part is also been claimed by Senegalese. And now, if they succeed, even the school in Dasilame, the hospital in Dasilame, the immigration post and the custom post in Dasilame will all be taken.
What will be left of Dasilame then?
Maybe they'll only show where you have the mosque. These areas, Peter, we don't talk. We go and see it for ourselves. We are not representatives who will be, trying to beautify issues of government. But I am telling you, if leadership are not serious, we will have a small Gambia that we regret for the rest of our life. But I am putting it to you. We are ready to die for our country, to defend our territorial integrity. And I'm sending this signal to the government. We will use plan B. That is, re-strategize and reorganize ourselves to make sure, traditionally, borderline will be protected. We will do that. Because if a government is not even ready
to secure that or those traditional borderlines would mean, going deep into Senegal again, or what territory Senegal considers to be theirs.
No, what I'm just saying is, if those in the other part in Senegal knew very well that this is Gambia.
That's what I'm saying.
You meet with the people, they will tell you. But it was the soldiers.
So for you right now, Senegal is encroaching into Gambian territory.
Yes.
And you're saying to push back, to old border demarcation, that would mean pushing the Senegalese out. How easy would that be?
No, it's about diplomacy. I can tell you, some of this is when it happens. I personally go to Senegal and meet their sous-préfets, that is their leaders within the regions. We are in the region of Bignona.
Yes.
We met, discussed with them holistically. Okay. You talk Jola, I talk Jola. Oh. You talk Mandinka, I talk Mandinka. You talk Nyago, I talk Nyago. This is what is happening. This is the peg. Tell us your ancestors